Welcome to the FC Edmonton pregame show on City. I'm Corey Chilliback. Well, in a little less than 30 minutes, the Eddies will be taking on their Canadian rival, the Ottawa Fury FC. The Eddies are coming off a big win last Sunday versus Fort Lauderdale, where Keegan's long ball was right on the mark, and Daryl Fordyce made no mistake. Edmonton keeper Matt Van Oekel was tested early and often. There's no question that he was key in the Eddies' win last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great result for the guys. I mean, another 3 points at home. I mean, I think Colin said, we're beaten once in 8 games. So, I mean, we're in a decent run of form right now. Shaky first half, but I mean, overall, it's 3 points, and that's what matters to us. I was happy, obviously, with my performance overall. A couple of shady kicks and distribution out of my hands, but yeah, I mean, making saves, keeping the ball out of the back of the net, I was real pleased with. I think it's shown over the course of the spring and so far in the fall that when we play our style and our way, it plays into our hands. So I think Ottawa will give them a tough run and stuff like that, and hopefully walk away again with 3 points.
Yeah, the first half we didn't start too well. We were glad to get in at half time, and Matt made a few good saves, and we get in at half time, and the gaffer told us a few things to improve on, and we applied that the second half, and we put in a better performance second half, but it can always be a lot better if we want to do better things in this league, and it was good to get the win, so we'll go from there. Matt made a good save at the other end. The ball fell a little sham, and he hit it wide to Jake. As soon as Jake took his first touch out of his feet and came inside, I just run off the defender, and it was a tremendous ball from Jake, and thankfully I took a nice touch and managed to score. It'll be good to see Milan and Eddie again. The last time we played them here, we didn't do too well in the Canadian Cup. You know, so we got to look after ourselves and take care of business on Sunday, and hopefully all the boys are ready for it.
The boys are doing well right now. They're doing great. We're in a good position in the league. It just shows our quality when we can play not at our best and still get a result out of it. So the boys have been training great, been playing great. It's a great batch of players here. Everybody gets along. The team's very cohesive. So it just showed our quality coming out 1-0 against a decent team, a good team in Fort Lauderdale, especially coming off of a break and, you know, getting a decent result in Oklahoma. It takes you a while to you know, find your feet after a little break. So the boys did a great job, and we're all together. We're all backing one another, and we think we can go all the way with this one.
Please stay with us when we come back. The FC Edmonton pregame show on City continues. We're going to take a look back at the NASL Plays of the Week. Also another installment of Footy Fundamentals with FC Edmonton head coach Colin Miller. All right, it's that time in the show. We're going to throw it across the pitch now to Gareth Hampshire and Steve Sandor. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Corey. Welcome to Clarke Stadium. What a beautiful day for a Canadian derby today. FC Edmonton back in action against the Ottawa Fury, and the game presented today by AMA. Another all-Canadian matchup. These games often produce exciting matchups, and the Eddies hoping to notch 3 more points after that 1-0 victory against Fort Lauderdale last week. Daryl Fordyce with that beauty late on in the game, giving all the spoils for FC Edmonton, who are well and truly in the playoff race at the moment.
Yeah, and I think revenge is also a theme today, with Ottawa knocking Edmonton out of the Amway Canadian Championship earlier this year. FC Edmonton will be hungry to get one back up on Ottawa.
Gareth Hampshire alongside Steve Sandor. Thanks for joining us. Good to be here. Coach Colin Miller for the Eddies with us on the pitch. Colin, new signing, first of all. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, Carson Smith is he's a left-sided centre-back that we're delighted to be able to bring into the fold. Just arrived last night, and thankfully Albert Watson passed the fitness test, or else Carson would have been thrown in right at the deep end, because young Marco Alexic has picked up a bit of a groin strain. But delighted to add a bit of quality and a bit of depth, and to get a left-sided centre-back nowadays is quite unique, so I'm sure he'll be a very strong addition to the squad.
Several storylines here today as well, of course. I know you like these Canadian derbies, and Eddie Edward possibly playing against you as well. What about that prospect?
Yeah, it'll be nice to shake hands with Eddie before the game, but then he's the enemy. Eddie was he's just a quality human being, and he was a terrific player for the Eddies, but he's now the enemy, and I'll finish what I'm saying about Eddie Edward and move on to the Eddies.
Now, you've had 5 wins on the trot at home here, which is becoming a bit of a fortress for you. What have you said to the players, not just about this game, but the rest of the way as they apply themselves for this race now?
Yeah, we had a very good team talk before coming on to the cameras here. Gareth, we want to focus on what's up above us in the league and not what's round about us. We've made this Clarke Field a very difficult venue in the past, and of course this season as well. And we're not where we are in the league because we're a poor side or we've been lucky. Although we did let ourselves down with our first half performance last week against Fort Lauderdale, a talented Fort Lauderdale side. But we've shown a lot of character and we've played some very good football at home, and we want to continue along those lines. And Steve touched on it earlier on. We lost here against Ottawa in the Amway Championship, and we're very poor that night from a defensive point of view. And we know that if Ottawa play the way they're capable of doing, they're a dangerous side. They've got good players on their side, but they've also made a few changes to their team, so there will be no continuity from what has happened last week. They're already starting 2 different players this week, so there's no continuity there. We've got a bit of continuity going, and the players are really buying into what we're doing and where we are in the league. They're relishing every challenge that's coming up, and we're excited about what's happening here in Edmonton.
Great, good luck today, Colin. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Some of that good football he was talking about led the Eddies to victory last week. That 1-0 win against Fort Lauderdale. Let's look back at the highlights from that one. Wasn't great weather. It was a bit of a rain-delayed game, lightning storms, but when they did get going, it was a 3-point victory for the Eddies.
Yeah, but not without some work first. Matt Van Oekel had to make several key saves in this game to keep the Eddies in it. And then here we see a wonderful ball played in by Jake Keegan to Daryl Fordyce. Steps in between 2 defenders and finishes the chance. Really wonderful counterattack by the Eddies to get them that goal that got them the 3 points. It turned a miserable day into a pretty good day for the Eddies.
And for the fans who stayed around for that 45-minute delay, treated to that terrific goal by Daryl Fordyce that gave the Eddies all 3 points. And that puts them in a great spot for the league standings. In the combined standings, FC Edmonton looking good. And there they are in 4th place. But a victory today could bump them up and put them right within striking range of the top 2.
Yeah, and you have to look at the games in hand, too. They played 2 games less than both the New York Cosmos and the Indy 11, who lost their first game of the season last night against Minnesota United.
And you can see the Fury there, 1 spot off the bottom with 9 points. They've yet to win in the fall season, and they've been struggling a little bit. So they'll be hoping to put things together today here in Edmonton. The keys to the game now with Steve.
The first thing for the Eddies to do today is they got to get a jump on the Ottawa Fury. They didn't get a jump on the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in last week, but it worked out for them. But Ottawa's coming in. They didn't come in until yesterday, didn't take that extra day, and so without that day of training, Ottawa could be vulnerable. And Colin Miller touched on the second key, which is Ottawa just another team. There are some ex-Eddies there. Milan Roberts and Eddie Edwards just walked past us as they headed out for the warm-up. And the Eddies have just got to treat that like it's just another day. And the third key, here we see Daryl Fordyce scoring again, and that is counterattack and pushing because Ottawa gets a lot of possession in their games. And it has been the case, even though they haven't had a lot of success. But the third key being is that Ottawa has got a lot of possession, but it's really just a stat for them because they have had trouble scoring. They've had trouble converting that possession into anything. We see Eddie Edward warming up there as we talk about some of the guys coming back, and Milan Roberts there as well. And again, the Eddies cannot get too distracted by those players. And you know, as Colin Miller said, shake hands and then they become the enemy. And that's going to be the case for those guys. But then getting back to that third key where we talk about the need for the Eddies, really just to not get so worried if Ottawa has possession. Ottawa does have trouble putting the ball in the net.
Been some great counter-attacking for FC Edmonton this season, so they'll be looking to continue that. Of course, they know all about Milan Roberts and Eddie Edwards, so they'll be well prepared for the challenges from those two players as well. Let's take a look at the injury report now for FC Edmonton. Just that long-term knock for Rodales, but everyone else with a clean bill of health.
Yeah, he got an injection this week, so he's still about 3 weeks away. So you know they're having to do without him, but they've done fine. The depth is there, but it will be nice when he finally gets back in the lineup in about 3 weeks.
The players who are fit warming up behind us. Colin Miller naming the same team as he did last week against Fort Lauderdale, having been boosted by the fitness test that Albert Watson passing the test, and he is fit to play. The skipper goes straight back into the heart of defense then, and Carsten Smith, we may get a chance to see him today. The new signing, played in the USL and a former teammate of Tomi Amiobi. He is in the squad for FC Edmonton today, who for a change look like they're playing in perfect conditions, dare I say.
I tell you, the way that the season's gone and the weather patterns for FC Edmonton games, it's almost bizarre that it's a beautiful day outside. It's about 20 degrees, sunny, not too hot, perfect, little bit of a breeze, perfect day for the players, not hot enough that they have to slow down their pace of play.
And a nice one for the fans too, who were all wrapped up and underneath the umbrellas last week as we played Fort Lauderdale. Today it's FC Edmonton against the Ottawa Fury in the North American Soccer League, and the kickoff is coming up next.
FC Edmonton Soccer, starting now on City. Brought to you by City, the Fath Group, High Signs, and Earthwater.
Heads it into the back of the net. He's onside. Beautifully finished. A clinical strike. Far post, and there's the header, and there's the goal for Kiakate. Getting his head on that one, and the Eddies are up 2-1. Welcome back to Clarke Stadium. A buzz around the arena here as the Eddies take on Ottawa. This all-Canadian matchup, and two former Edmonton players starting the game today for Ottawa, Milan Roberts and Eddie Edward. With a lot of appearances between them over the years for Edmonton. That's Ottawa playing all in red today, and the Eddies all in blue. And we're about to have the anthems prior to the kickoff right now. This is a minute's silence, though, for the tragedies around the world that's being observed at Clarke Stadium.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patron love, heed not thy son's command. Car ton pose porter les pays, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
It's the Eddies against the Fury. FC Edmonton hoping to build on their 5 wins on the trot at home. 1-0 last week. Daryl Fordyce on the score sheet. And 12 points ahead currently of the Fury in the combined standings. But this game today all about bragging rights in Canada. Eddie Edward hoping that he could talk trash the rest of the season, he was saying earlier on, to his former teammates. So we'll see how that goes. There have been some good games over the years between these two. Of course, the Canadian Championship, one of the low points of the season for FC Edmonton, losing 3-0 here at home. But since then, things have improved drastically for the Eddies.
You know, it's funny, last year when Ottawa started surging in the standings, then coach Mark Dos Santos said it was directly the result of losing to the Eddies in the Amway Canadian Championship, and then the team surged after that. They did some soul searching, so it seems that it's gone the other way around. But we're going to see. It's going to be interesting. Jay Ball, the team's GM, was jokingly telling Eddie Edward before the game during the warm-up he wasn't allowed to cross halfway. He was told to stay on his side.
Both captains there flipping the coin and trying to figure out which way it goes. I'm not sure what the discussion's all there for, but it seems to be in good spirits between Albert Watson and Rafael Alves. Watson, of course, passing a late fitness check for the Eddies and fit to continue as the skipper. And he takes the pennant that he's just been presented with by Alves to the dugout. There he is, Northern Irishman. This was the scene earlier. It was touch and go whether he'd be ready to play. It looked like a right ankle injury, but he passed the fitness test. And he's going to anchor the defense today for FC Edmonton. Let's take a look at that starting 11 for the Eddies. Matt Van Oekel in goal. The fullbacks, Nick Law and Eckersley, Diakite and Watson in the middle. Midfield 3, Correa, Ledgerwood and Keegan. Showman, Fordyce just a little bit further forward, and then Tomi Amiobi, the lone striker for FC Edmonton today. And for the Fury, a number of different players since the last time we saw them at Clarke Stadium, but one thing remains, Romo Pezer in goal, and he's a difficult man to beat. Eddie Edward there at right back. Timbo will move to left back, so that Milan Roberts will partner Rafael Alves in the heart of the Fury defense. 3 across the midfield, James Bailey, Lance Roseboom and Max Tissot. And a front 3 of Carl Harworth, Thomas Stewart and Dennis Chin. Weather conditions really nice for the kickoff here in Edmonton. You can see the flags, a little bit of a breeze to them. 16K. But about 20 degrees and very dry. It's lovely for the game today. And Ottawa will kick off and they will attack the goal to our right.
Thomas Stewart, Max Tissot, both making their Ottawa Fury debuts today. Both signed this week.
Timbo getting an early touch on the ball and moving it across the back 4. Bit of a slip there by Alves. He made a mistake in the defeat that the Fury had to Edmonton earlier this season. He'll not want to do that again. Here's Milan Roberts, a touch against his old club. Albert Watson getting his first challenge in there, and Eckersley under pressure from former Eddie Edward. Gets the ball back to his goalkeeper. Amiobi, who Colin Miller wants to see get a goal, moving the ball nicely to the right-hand side. Feels like he needs to be rewarded for all his industry. Often on his own up front for FC Edmonton. Watson moving the ball to the left wing, and it's with Eckersley again, back in field for Ledgerwood. Nice little 1-2, and Eckersley with the outside of his left boot finds Fordyce. Fordyce muscled out of it by Bailey. Bailey continues his run, but Watson getting in there and just lumping it long, and safety first for Milan Roberts. Throw in for the Eddies.
It does feel a bit strange seeing Milan Roberts and Eddie Edward tracking back, not for FC Edmonton, but for the opposing team.
Watson goes up, wins a header there, and it's Keegan with another touch on the left-hand side. Little push pass in field for Ledgerwood. Ledgerwood will switch it to the right wing. Nick Law had to just adjust there, but gets possession. Keeps it in the defence and finds Diakite, still with that bandaging on his right wrist. He finds Watson. Watson bringing the ball past halfway and then pushing it forward, looking for Amiobi. Just a misunderstanding between the pair. And it's a throw-in that Roberts will leave for Eddie Edward to take.
The key to now, Tony Amiobi playing as the lone target man up there. We like to get balls to Amiobi to hold up, but it's a big challenge against Alves and Roberts, two very big men in the center of defense for Ottawa. Edmonton's going to have to get the Ottawa defenders' feet moving, try to get some balls in behind them. It's going to be difficult to beat them in the air.
The throw finds Ledgerwood back to Eckersley, and now Diakite, middle of the defense. Correa gets his foot on the ball. He's dangerous with those long passes when he's got room, but was closed down well. Correa sneaking back into possession again there, though, wearing the number 11. Back to Watson. Bit of a cagey start from both teams.
When Ottawa came here in the Cup, they were exceptionally aggressive right after the start of the game. They caught Edmonton a little bit by surprise at how aggressive they were. They're not as aggressive in this game.
Watson chipping on long again. Amiobi the chaser, but it's going to be easy for Eddie Edward to just let it go out for a throw-in. There he is, former Edmonton player.
Again, for Ottawa, I talked about how they're not quite as aggressive maybe in the first couple of minutes here as they were the last time they were here. A lot of new players still getting settled in there. When you have players playing your first game for the team, like Max Tissot, Stewart, up front, it takes time to settle in.
Ledgerwood trying to release Eckersley on the left wing for Edmonton. Eddie Edward heading that one into touch, or was he? Referee says no, it's going to be a Fury thrower.
Well, I think the fact that Eddie Edward had backed off and seemed surprised by the call tells you that it did graze Eddie Edward's head, because he was quite sure it was Edmonton's throw.
Roberts takes the throw. Eckersley gets his head to it, so does Watson. Watson's gone down under the challenge. And there'll be a slight stoppage here. Eckersley with the first header. It loops up in the air. Watson goes up for it, and he might just have headed the back of Thomas Stewart's head there. So, just a clash of heads, I think, and Watson needing some treatment.
Of course, we mentioned Watson passed the late fitness test so he could play in this game. Had some ankle discomfort coming out of training last couple of days.
Colin Miller using this time to speak to Dustin Correa on the sidelines there, and has given him some instructions to take back out onto the pitch when play resumes. Here it is. Yeah, I think just on his follow through with the header.
Yeah, they're having a good look at Albert right now. You have to be very, very careful when it's a head injury.
holding his chin there. Not sure if he might need a couple of stitches before he gets back out there. Meantime, Ledgerwood drops in at centre half, and they continue with 10 men as Watson gets treatment on the sidelines. Obi chasing this long ball, gets on the end of it. He's causing Alves all kinds of problems. Alves recovering well. But it's a loose pass out of his own defensive area. Correa jumps on that, but he doesn't have the ball for very long, and there's a chance here for Bailey. Remember, Ottawa with a man advantage briefly while Watson is off the pitch, and they'll want to make it pay here. But losing possession there, and Nick Law bringing it clear for the Eddies. Fordyce moving the ball quickly to Ledgerwood.
I think Colin Miller just went there and told his training staff to hurry up a little bit, getting Albert Watson repaired.
Correa on the right wing. Moves in onto his left foot, tries to put the cross in, headed away by Roberts, and it's touch past Eckersley. It's a good breakaway here for Chin. Chin to the edge of the area, and his through ball, though, deflected by Ledgerwood and can be picked up by Van Oekel.
Chin did a nice job there, just a glancing header to take it past Eckersley and then ran onto it, but the final cross was poor. Couldn't clear Nick Ledgerwood, the first man that needs to get past.
That's gone right over the top, and it's Keegan picking it up and then striking the left-footed effort. He wasn't too far away from one end to the other in seconds, and that's the closest we've come so far.
Route 1 football, but a great ball forward that finds Keegan, who timed his run really well. Get behind Daryl Fordyce with this long ball. Not accustomed to seeing Daryl Fordyce playing that far back, but a great long ball to Keegan. Kind of reversing last week, where Keegan played that great long ball to Fordyce for the winning goal against Fort Lauderdale. That's what you got to do. You got to get in behind those big defenders. Use speed to get behind them. That's where you can get Ottawa.
Watson still getting some repairs on the sidelines as the Eddies continue with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. Bailey was too aggressive on Fordyce there, and the free kick given to Edmonton.
Chin is getting stitched up right there.
Yeah. And there you can see it. Looks like a couple of stitches just popped in there before the captain can come back out onto the pitch.
Hold on, listen.
9 minutes gone, no goals. Watson is back out onto the pitch. Some cheers from the home fans. Will immediately be called upon to defend a corner kick, but it's obviously okay to continue.
Just in the nick of time as the Eddies are giving up a set piece here for Watson to get back into the center of defense where he's needed. Looks like Bailey's going over to take this. Alves in the middle.
Know about Alves' threat from previous games, and there he is again causing problems, and Van Oekel picks up the ball, didn't get any real power behind the header, and it got deflected, but he scored from set pieces before against the Eddies.
Yes, he did, a game winner last year in Fort McMurray. But I think Albert Watson was bothering him just enough that Alves just couldn't really get any power on that header. Couldn't get his head through the ball.
Nice break forward by Correa, and that results in the end in a corner for Edmonton, so a good switch of pace and a little trick, and it's defended and conceded a corner. So this is where Watson will go forward to the other end of the pitch now, and Diakite as well, hovering on the edge of that penalty area.
This is where we saw the Eddies score against Ottawa when they beat them in the regular season here in the spring.
Corner to the far post. Diakite's there, gets his chest on it, and it's scrambled away. It just seemed to be in slow motion there. The ball just wouldn't drop for the shot for him, and the chance is gone.
I think Pap was almost surprised himself how that just sat at his feet. It came deep and then down to his chest and down, and he didn't really have a great view of goal. A lot of bodies in the way, but just have a crack, see where that ball bounces or deflects.
Corner from the other flag, Eckersley. It's in low, and Watson gets in there, and that's deflected behind for another corner, the third within a minute here. Another dangerous situation. Eckersley with another corner. This one's gone deeper and beats everybody. Watson there just lost his footing, and the Fury can reorganize at the back and perhaps launch an attack themselves there. They've got a couple of runners in behind here, and this is a good break by Chin, who keeps the ball in play and then just runs it out of play. Goal kick for Edmonton.
Yeah, just Chin got himself into trouble. He just couldn't catch up to that ball, and by the time he was able to get ahead of Nick Ledgerwood, who was covering there for the center back, he'd gotten way too close to the touchline, and Ledgerwood was able to shut it down and not give him sort of any route to goal. The ball just did not check up on the turf at all for Chin going forward.
Sean Nicklaw making the NASL Team of the Week after his debut for Edmonton last week. Colin Miller, though, saying much more to come from him, as Shamit Shom gets very close to threading a nice through ball for Jake Keegan, but again, just a bit too much purchase on it, and it's picked up by Payzet.
It's been a couple of real warning signs, though, for Jake Keegan and that back line. Keegan's been able to threaten him with his speed.
Great tackle, tracking back by Correa on Harworth. Controlling the ball for Edmonton. Shom linking up with Amiobi and then picking out Daryl Fordyce. Fordyce is taken down unfairly. Free kick given against Edward, and they try and take it quickly, but from the wrong situation, so the referee pulls back play.
It's going to be a challenger. Keegan, while he's not playing as the striker up top, Amiobi is. He's had a couple of chances where he's been able to come in off that left side, run up the middle. He's challenging Alves and Roberts. Those runs.
Was long past the left-hand side. I thought was kept in by Eckersley, but it just must have crossed the line. Good attempt. It's going to be a throw-in for the Fury. Alan Roberts trying to steal a couple of yards there. Referee pushing him back. The original location where the ball went into touch. He's thrown it straight at Fordyce, who heads it back to the edge of the area. Alves just lifts it into the cloudy Edmonton skies. It's headed back by Diakite. A little bit scrappy in the early going as Roseboom plays the ball back to his goalkeeper, Payzet. We're approaching 15 minutes and no goals at Clarke Stadium.
Has been cagey. Midfield's been very crowded so far. Doesn't even feel like Ottawa's playing a 4-3-3. It's how they've lined up that way, but the way the midfield gets congested, we're seeing a lot of players playing very conservatively today. very different than when they last came here. 1-3-0.
Amiobi coming deep to retrieve the ball for the Eddies, but he's lost it. Chin's got a chance to the edge of the penalty area there, and a snapshot on the turn by Stewart is deflected wide, and Fury get themselves a corner.
See, Ottawa has had trouble scoring this year, and it's one of those interesting situations because Edmonton has got the best defense in the league. Matt Van Oakland has been the stingiest goalie in the league this year.
Allowing just 8 goals in 12 games, Edmonton. Very strong defensive record. Driven in low. They're not really doing a good job clearing it, Edmonton. Well, they've got a chance to come away with the ball with Amiobi, but he's robbed of it well by Tissot. Getting a touch on that. It's back with Tissot. A good spell of possession here by the Fury. Keegan making sure that ball gets clear. Then the long strike is wide of the post.
Good pressure there by Ottawa. A lot of support on the ball. A second man. There's a 50-50 ball. There's a second Ottawa player waiting to win that ball if it came loose. On a couple occasions there, they were able to keep possession. But at the same time, I talked about that at the top of the show. Ottawa has a lot of that in their games where they have looked very good in terms of holding the ball and possessing it. But in that final third, they're just not creating chances. They're not getting balls to the goal. They're not creating that goal mouth threat.
Watson's drilled a pass low to Nicolau. Shanit Shome in possession. Just lifted that ball over the top of the defense. Edward comes across to head it away. Picked up by Roseboom, but it's taken away from him by Amiobi. Good break down the right-hand side by Tommy Amiobi. Cross into the box is deflected out for a corner for Edmonton. Amiobi trying to get involved in this game.
Amiobi caught Roseboom napping there and just picked his pocket and has now created a set-piece opportunity for Edmonton. So, you know, Edmonton makes this pay if this corner ends up resulting in something for the Eddies. We can look back at that move by Amiobi, stealing the ball from Roseboom.
Cornered by Correa, but there's pushing and shoving in there. The referee on the spot to award the free kick to the Fury. 0-0 after almost 20 minutes at Clarke Stadium. Dominant header from Pezer's goal kick. Roberts has to chase back to play the ball back for his goalkeeper. Kicks it off the ground this time into the Eddies half. Watson goes up, beaten in the air by Chin. Diakité's trying to let that one run into touch. Good defensive play there. It's a goal kick.
A couple of examples there why Diakité has been one of the revelation signings in the league this year. We saw that powerful header off of the goal kick, just sticking it right back in Ottawa's end, and they're just physically a dominant player, really hard to get around, really hard to shift around him.
be penalised for a push there just prior to winning that flick on against his former teammate, Eddie Edward.
You know, I spoke to a couple of players earlier this week at training about Eddie Edward returning, and they said, you know, getting that competitive edge won't be that hard because their training sessions tend to be very, very competitive and not lots given during training sessions. So they'll feel that way, that when they train against each other, they wasn't always best of friends out there.
Correa, nice fancy flick again, but found wanting with the through ball. It's going to be a goal kick for Ottawa. To play it through for Edward. It's worked out pretty well, and he's very close. Eddie Edward just over the angle there. Roseboom spotting the run from the former Eddie's fullback. Gets in behind Eckersley and wasn't too far away with that strike.
You know, Eddie Edward never scored a goal as an Eddie here at Clarke Field. It would have been something if he would have scored in his first game as a road player here. Or first game as a road player since was with FC Edmonton. Obviously, he played with Puerto Rico Islanders before he came to FC Edmonton. So he has played against FC Edmonton before.
Bit of a warning there for the Eddies, though. If Edward makes those runs in from the right, it could be very dangerous indeed with his pace. Ledgerwood has it from behind, loses possession, but Keegan has it for Edmonton.
I will say the Edward chance that Matt Van Oekel had already come well out and had taken away most of that inside part of the near part of the goal. And Eddie had gone to the near side. I think he would have had to cut the ball across Matt Van Oekel had he wanted to score.
Free kick for Edmonton there, Correa tripped. To the edge of the box. Correa tries to flick it up, perhaps for the shot. Drops back for Ledgerwood, far post ball. Diakite hitting it across the face of goal. The flag's up for offside.
Well, they got him there. I think a little bit of that hesitation. It's a well-placed ball by Ledgerwood, but Diakite just a step ahead. Too bad, because Ledgerwood dropped that into a really nice place.
Doing well, bringing that ball tidily out of defense and finding Fordyce. Fordyce has got support from Correa. Here he is now. Overlapping is Nicklaw. Correa, though, delivers the cross first time. Shome can keep that one in play. He's got the legs to do it. Another chance to cross the ball from the left-hand side. A good one, too. Defended well by Ottawa, but Amiobi is trying to win it back. Bailey calmly, though, linking up with Edward and completing the clearance.
Dangerous moments there. You know, it needs to be noted between Shamit Shome and Nick Ledgerwood is out there, Eddie Edward, Max Tissot, Milan Roberts, so much Canadian talent out there between these two teams today. Julian de Guzman's on the bench for Ottawa today as well. Carl Howarth's out there. It's great. It's a true Canadian derby because there's Canadian players involved. I think sometimes we look at games in the Amway Canadian Championships against some of the MLS teams, and it's been getting better over the years, but sometimes, you know, they put out players and not a lot of Canadians on the field. It's not the case when these two teams meet.
Chin winning a free kick against Eckersley on the right-hand side. kick for the Fury. It's gone towards the penalty spot and touched by Milan Roberts there. Eckersley just driving it vertical, and a header beyond the upright by Roberts, who caused a couple of problems there from the set piece, but the goal kick is Edmonton, still 0-0.
Dangerous clearance by Eckersley. Didn't want to do that. Ended up just moving the ball almost straight up in the air and dropped back down to the middle of the area. But in the end, no harm, no foul for the Eddies. I'd say the crowd's filled in rather nicely the last few minutes. A lot of latecomers today. People are waiting on the weather.
Yeah, good atmosphere in the stadium. The home fans trying to lift Edmonton. Looks like it could be the kind of game where the first goal could be really crucial here.
What you see a lot in FC Edmonton games too is there's a lot of people just sort of stand up and hang around the fence and watch the game from without going to the seat, like that vantage point.
Diakite coming straight through the middle of the field here with the ball, playing it wide to the left, and Keegan Chin gets onto that one quickly, and it's Harworth turning in the midfield, but he's dispossessed by Fordyce unfairly, says the referee. Free kick given to the Fury. Alves, the captain, just plays the free kick short to Roberts. He'll get the ball back here. Charged down well by Amiobi, and Roberts will let it run out for a throw in. Not a bad ball forward there by Alves that time. Bailey was the target. He runs for Edward. And Edward looking for the 1-2. Watson getting a foot in. So does Eckersley, and it's now Keegan. Playing it up to Amiobi. Challenged by Alves unfairly, says the referee. And a free kick for Edmonton.
Referee David Barry's call. Not well received by Ottawa coach Baldock Leash. Didn't like that one at all.
Deep by his own corner flag for Eckersley.
Ottawa's got the ball into good areas in this first half hour of the game, but I don't think they've actually put a shot on goal. They've had a couple of good opportunities that they've, but the shots have been off the target.
Chin just running that one into touch. Goal kick for Edmonton.
Again, second time we've seen Chin just run out of room. Ball not slowing up for him and not being able to turn. Ottawa plays on turf as well, so really this should not be an issue today for them.
Kept in on the touchline there, and Ledgerwood playing it into the penalty area. And Correa gets a touch on that one, just over the top. Closest we come to a goal. Payzak committed. Correa just tried to lob him there, and he was pretty close.
He didn't get there in time. He came off the line a little late. Hesitated. He hesitated right there. You see a little bit of that and almost is enough to allow Correa to flick it over him. Well, he did flick it over him, but didn't get it down enough for the goal. But just a little hesitation coming off the goal line for the keeper. But Ottawa gets away with it. As a keeper, when you come, you gotta come. You can't take that stutter step. Once you're committed, you gotta go.
Alves for the Fury, bringing the ball out of the back four. Tiso doing well to get to the edge of the area. It's not a bad effort there, and a slip-through ball, and a very good challenge by Eckersley, who ran across from the left back spot to make a late tackle.
Great challenge, but Dennis, the Chin's control again lets him down. He's had problems with that first touch on the ball. Tiso does so well cutting across top of the box, and then Chin with a really poor first touch, and allows Eckersley that time. If Chin can keep this ball on his shoes, he's going to get a great shot here, but he doesn't. It's a very, very heavy touch. A very poor touch from Dennis Chin.
Corner for Bailey. Bailey in towards the near post, and nobody really dominating in there, and put behind again by Diakite, who decides to regroup and concede another corner.
Another couple of warning shots to the Ottawa Fury here.
Tiso, who was so instrumental in creating that chance, now has the corner. Gone towards the near post. Good header away by Shome, but it drops for Bailey, who strikes the ball. Edwards winning it back. Made this time by Ledgerwood. There's no one up there. Correa's the man chasing it. It's gone back to Pazer. Correa will try his luck, but Pazer drives it out of the goal, but only as far as Nicklaw. Nice little trick by Correa on the right-hand side. Just didn't quite work out, but he's conceded a throw in the end.
Still got some oohs and ahs out of the crowd there as he tried to flick that by.
Diakite going back towards his own goal. Keeps his eye on the ball beautifully. Takes it around two. Very good defensive play. Correa looks for a man in space. Finds Ledgerwood. Now it's Shamit Shome. Into the path of Eckersley. Eckersley will drift into the middle there.
You see that Ottawa's playing a 4-3-3, but when you see the way they drop back defensively, it almost feels more like a 4-3 or a 4-2-3-1.
Ball's around the back this time on the right-hand side. This works nicely for the Eddies. Comes the cross to the inside the area. Keegan trying to readjust and strike the shot. Came off a Fury player, because it's another corner.
Yeah, it was a good last second challenge there. I think it's Tiso that gets his foot in there. Keegan was going to try to turn and strike that ball, but just didn't have enough time to get that done. Tiso gets in there, and I got to tell you, for a debut, I think Max Tiso's had a very, very strong first 35 minutes.
Corner from the left wing. Eckersley is going to take it. The near post, looking for Fordyce, doesn't get there. Correa creates himself a crossing chance here, or maybe a cutback. Fordyce has going to try his right foot, palmed away by Pazer. Another throw in. Diakite was hoping for Fordyce to push the ball to him.
I don't think this is any real threat of scoring from Fordyce with this shot, but Pazer does well because he just wants to relieve the pressure and get this ball away from goal. Parries that well.
Throwing from the right, where the crowd's being whipped up behind Nicklaw. 10 minutes to half-time, still 0-0. Drop to Shamit Shome, gets his head on the ball into the area. Bailey blasting it clear. Nicklaw playing it forward again. Up goes Correa. He's beaten to possession again, and Bailey playing it through, but Eckersley has got possession and plays it back for Van Oekel. Goes up the left-hand side. Edward and Fordyce in a tangle, and it is a Ottawa throw. Edward retrieving the ball right down by the Eddie's dugout there, and his former coach, Colin Miller. This man's former coach too, Milan Roberts. Getting a new lease on life with the Fury. Dropped down the pecking order a little bit in Edmonton, especially since Diakite signed. To work the ball there to Fordyce, and Ledgerwood did a great job. Picked up by Tissot, though, who's having a good game for the Fury. Broken up again, though, well by Ledgerwood, and he's released Keegan. Keegan checks his run and finds Correa. But overlapping run on the right, it's Nicklaw. Amiobi stayed on side, right wing position. Alves takes the ball away from him. Ottawa will clear it. And that's a chance gone begging for Edmonton. It looked really promising at one point. Maybe another opportunity here for Schoen. He's got Eckersley in all kinds of space on the left wing. Finds him nicely. Edward closing down Eckersley. It's back with Schoen. Correa tried to play a flick pass back to him, but he's lost possession. And that's going to be a free kick against Albert Watson.
Again, we're just seeing how congested the midfield is. Really hard for the players to play the ball through. You know, it's one of those games where the teams say they're playing certain formations, but it just feels like a traffic jam right there in the middle of the park. And both teams, I think, when they threaten, it's been when they've done long balls over the top, and they've had some success getting balls over top.
In good voice behind Van Okel's goal. No goals to cheer so far, though, in this match, and Van Okel could be called upon here. Eckersley, in fact, just making sure that one goes into touch. It's going to be a goal kick for Matt Van Okel. Been in fine form lately for the Eddies. Last week in particular, making a string of good stops before Darryl Fordyce put Edmonton in front. In difficult, slippery, rainy conditions, too.
Yeah, the game delayed, too, by 45 minutes. That's difficult on the players. You get warmed up, you get ready to go, and then you have to go back in the dressing room. And you don't have that same kind of time to warm up again when you finally get out there again. And everyone wanted to get that game in a hurry after the delay.
Behind the defense of Keegan and Amiobi, causing problems in there, but Hazak coming very quickly off his line to snuff out the danger.
That's what you see the Eddies been trying to do, getting some balls just dink behind Alves and Roberts.
Shot into the side netting, never really troubling Van Okel there from Thomas Stewart. The goal kick for the Eddies, 5 minutes to half time, and it's goalless at Clarke Stadium. Worked out well for Keegan. Alves doing very well there. Edward making the break, and he's continued his run to the edge of the penalty area. Eddie Edward really trying to get forward for the Fury today. Ledgerwood brought down there, though was being pulled from behind. Free kick for Edmonton.
Referee Dave Barry said Carl Haworth that sort of, you're on your last warning here, caught you a couple of times, and just letting you know sooner or later that card's going to come out. Certainly not a dirty game by any means today. I don't think we've seen a card yet, have we?
Not even very many fouls, have there? It's been a very clean game so far. Roseboom just sidestepping a challenge there, and Harwood bringing the ball to the edge of the penalty area, showing some good acceleration. It's going to be into the path of Bailey to shoot right-footed, and Watson gets down to make a critical block. Great block there by the captain, Albert Watson, from that shot.
That break started. Nick Ledgerwood got caught on a bad bounce off that turf, where he misjudged the ball that he was going to try to put down and just control, and ended up sending the Ottawa Fury the other way. But again, like so many other Ottawa Fury attacks we've seen in this half, they get close, but they can't get the ball on goal, on frame. It's either blocked or goes wide.
Nice over there by Keegan. Lovely dummy from the Eckersley pass, and it works to Amiobi. Amiobi just trying to shift it wide to the right-hand side. Now they get it to Korea. Nicolau is on the overlap. Korea again, there's men in the area. Still got possession. And he spotted Eckersley wide on the left. Good cross into the penalty area there. It's Milan Roberts that gets his head on the ball. And back by Watson, but this time it's Roseboom that gets it clear. Korea back into the middle in Ledgerwood. For Darryl Fordyce. Fordyce delivering a ball that's gone a bit too deep. And that'll drift all the way out for a throw-in to the Fury.
For the Eddies, it's better there than if it had drifted out for a goal kick, because at least you still have Ottawa pinned in their own corner there. But both teams have done a very, very good job of, when their opposition gets in the final third, of just really not allowing a path to goal.
Roseboom for Ottawa to the edge of the area. Stewart chasing out of this one. His shot's deflected. It's going to be easy for Van Oekel to pick up.
Just another block for Pap Diakite. Seems like it's another day at the office for the big man.
Good throw out there by Van Oekel to find Darryl Fordyce, and now Korea plays it for Watson. Eckersley overlapping. Tight area there. They were trying to pass triangles in and just losing possession. Throw in for the Fury. Eckersley does well to get ahead on that one to make sure that Edward couldn't get the ball in behind him. He's in fact got a throw in here, Eddie Edward. Crossing opportunity for Roberts. He's driven it in low, and it's put out by Ledgerwood. It'll be a corner. And we're going to play one additional minute of added time in this first half.
Tissot's going back to taking this again. I mentioned earlier, I think Tissot might have been Ottawa's best player in the first half.
Deep to the far post, and comes off a Fury player, goes behind for a goal kick to Edmonton. The score 0-0 at Clarke Stadium.
A little bit of push and shove there between Alves and Diakite. Alves had felt that Diakite had fouled him. I think it's one of those cases where if the referee was going to call anything, there's two players tangled up with each other there. Pretty difficult to pick one out there.
And that That's the half-time whistle at Clarke Stadium. Very closely fought contest developing here. This all-Canadian matchup between Edmonton and Ottawa. Goalless at half-time.
Yeah, it's about as true a stalemate as you can have. Two teams very even in the first half. Not really a lot of chances that have get on goal. Ottawa had a couple maybe more looks at Edmonton. Fordyce had a chance for the Eddies. I think we have Paul Dalglish almost ready here to speak to us. Coach Dalglish.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to check that you were here with us. Just your general thoughts on the first half.
Yeah, I thought it was a game full of passion and commitment, which you expect from a Canadian rivalry. I thought, you know, if I'm honest, Edmonton had a little bit more possession, but I thought we looked quite comfortable, and I thought we looked very dangerous on the break, and I think we probably edged the chances. So we just got to make sure when we play quick and when we actually counter with pace, we look like we've got a chance of scoring. So we've got to focus on that in this second half, and hopefully we can pick them off.
And obviously you've got a couple of players in Tissot and Stewart playing their first games for you. You have Edward and Roberts who are, you know, obviously having an emotional return. A little bit of balancing with some of those emotions today.
Yeah, listen, we need to win. We want to win this game, so I don't think it really matters if it's somebody's first game or if it's somebody playing against their ex-team. We need to win, you know, and that's the most important thing.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Paul Dalglish joining us on the pitch there. The Fury coach, reasonably pleased with his team in the first half. 0-0 at half-time between FC Edmonton and the Ottawa Fury. The Eddies quite a number of points clear of the Fury going into the game today. 12 points in front of them in a real chase for the playoffs, whereas the Fury, he's talking about them needing the win there to just build from where they are, and second from bottom in the table at the moment. Let's talk to Eddie's coach, Colin Miller. Colin, 0-0 and all quite tightly fought in there. What's your analysis of the first half?
Yeah, two good teams having a go at each other, Gareth. There's not much between the two sides. We've had some very good possession, but a lot of it has been in front of Ottawa. I'd like to see now and again a ball played over the top in between centre backs or even down the channel, just to have their back three turn, because at the moment they're fairly comfortable. It's a lot of side to side stuff. I'd just love to see a little bit more penetrating runs, more penetrating passes, and moving the ball just a little bit quicker in the attacking third. Defensively, we've been fairly sound at I get once again some long range stuff, but overall fairly pleased. We've passed the ball. We're looking to play. We've certainly played a lot better in this first half than we did last week at this time. But there's a lot to do here. We're still confident, of course, that we can get the 3 points here in the second half. Slight breeze behind us, which hopefully will help as well.
Okay, thanks, Colin.
Thank you.
Colin Miller talking about the breeze that the players will have at their backs in the second half, hoping to take advantage of that in the next 45 minutes. It's 0-0 at halftime. Here we are, set for kickoff in the second half. Clarke Stadium 0-0 at halftime. No substitutions yet from either coach. Game brought to you by AMA Rewards today. Tomi Amiobi getting ready to begin the next 45 minutes in the center circle with Shamit Show. And we're underway for the second half, and immediately Ledgerwood carrying the ball to the left-hand side and finding Eckersley. And then getting bundled over by Bailey, and an early free kick for Edmonton.
As to be expected, neither team looks to have made any sort of change. Both coaches fairly pleased.
And that's the ball Colin Miller was hoping for, over the top of the defense, straight away by Albert Watson, causing a couple of problems. Ball retrieved by Shamit Shome, and Ledgerwood juggling with it on the edge of the area. It's going to drop to Fordyce. Fordyce has given it away, though, to Stewart. His opposite, number 16. There's Stewart again with the ball right on the edge of the penalty box as Watson stands on it and makes a clearance. It's with Harworth now, though. Tissot on the left-hand side. Nicola getting rid of that one. Chin's done well to ride a couple of challenges there. Hassled by Correa on Timbo, forcing him back a little bit. And then one back by Nick Law. Good work between them. Correa puts in an early cross. Amiobi goes down under a challenge. Referee just points to the goal kick.
They weren't sure the way he pointed there. Wasn't sure he was pointing to the spot or pointing for the goal kick. From the angle he was coming at. There's a bit of a pregnant pause there.
Here comes the ball in. Goes down under the challenge. There is contact in there. Just puts his hand on him. Is it enough for him to go down? Does he go down too easily? Not very loud appeals by Edmonton. But yeah, it took a while, it seemed, for the referee to make up his mind. Took a long, hard look at that and gave a goal kick.
Just the nature of the way that the ball went out of play, so you had this pause to see what the referee would decide, and the referee, Mr. Barry, was walking very slowly, and then he pointed to the box, and you're like, is he pointing to the spot or is he pointing for a goal kick? That far away, don't look very different. But clearly didn't feel that there was enough there.
Peck is the penalised for a foul on Eddie Edward. Ball might have just been moving as Roberts took the free kick. He's moving him back towards the touchline. Goal kick for Edmonton there.
Needs to be said though that today's referee, Dave Barry, is, when he talks to players around the league, he's regarded as one of the better ones and one of the best ones that comes from the Canadian side.
Eddie Edward getting forward again, heading it on towards Stewart. Diakite makes sure that that ball's cleared. The touch, throw in for the Fury. Ledger was forward pass controlled by Amiobi. Nick Law back in field to Correa. Watson finding Keegan. Keegan trying to turn his man, winning a free kick. Looking for a 1-2 with Correa, who goes down under a tackle by Tissot. Free kick for Edmonton.
See here, Diakite, Watson both going up into the penalty area. A couple of bigger bodies in the area to challenge the likes of Alves and Roberts for Ottawa.
Korea's in a lot of space on this right-hand side, but the referee wasn't ready for it to be taken.
Colin Miller not happy about that being pulled back. He's up off his bench. He wasn't pleased. I mean, the Eddies took it, thought everything was settled, and then played that ball out to Korea. It was wide open.
Wood's ball into the box, evades everybody, goes out for a goal kick, so that really not working out well for Edmonton. At first, Korea seemed like he was in a great position. It was whistled back, and then the ball in, no one able to apply any kind of touch to it. It's a goal kick.
The referee said he was still trying to sort out some pushing and shoving in the box, and that he hadn't. That's what he signaled over. He wasn't ready for that ball to be taken.
Obi going down under a challenge, getting another free kick for Edmonton.
Very stop-start in the second half.
Yeah, here's Stewart. Edmonton have got men back now, but it's Roseboom. Tissot, who's looked dangerous from that left-hand side, is cross headed away by Diakate again. A rocking defense for Edmonton.
Ottawa had for a moment there a 3-on-2 break, but I think Stewart just waited a little bit too long. He's waiting for help. You need to move that ball forward and just press that advantage.
Alves preparing to scoop that one away with the outside of his right boot rather than use his left.
When you have a numerical advantage, there's no point holding up the ball. You just push forward. You don't need to wait for help when you have that. And it was a 3-on-2 for Ottawa. And Stewart got caught looking behind himself and not pushing forward to one of the wings.
Diakate playing the ball through the middle of the park in the air. It's won back by Shamit Shome for Edmonton, but his header has gone straight to Haworth. He's tackled by Diakate, and Diakate's in trouble. The Ottawa bench feeling that was a dangerous challenge. It's a sliding tackle. There were studs showing. There's a lot of players swarming around the referee here. It's a yellow card for Diakate. And the Fury coach, Paul Dalglish, kicking the dugout. Clearly thinks that should have been a red card.
There we see him turning around, and he is late. There is 2 feet there. And Ottawa right away, like they're looking at that replay up on the big scoreboard, and they're just looking at the referee saying, look at that. So that's got...
Well, definitely the studs were showing, both feet up in the air. Now, he did get the ball, but the referee clearly thought it was a foul, but not enough to be a straight red.
Both players, though, they're swarming the referee right away. Which you don't like to see. I mean, it's got to make a decision.
Haworth free kick. He's curled it around the wall, and it's a very good stop by Van Oekel, who was in perfect position and made the catch low to his right.
I have to say, both the sets of players are swarming the referee before he even made his decision, before he pulled out a card. So it wasn't like that they were swarming him because they were unhappy. But Diakate is walking the tightrope.
Well struck free kick by Haworth, but Van Oekel in perfect spot to make the catch. Made it look very easy there. Been in very good form for FC Edmonton, Matt Van Oekel.
Paul Dalglish is still pretty unhappy. You can see he's pacing the dugout.
Chin for the Fury. Tried to look for the through pass to Haworth, and it's Diakate with a double header, getting it clear. played an advantage there as Korea got on the ball from that flick down header by Amiobi, but the whistle had gone for a free kick.
You're on the Fury side. You can't let that frustration mount. There's some frustration there about that call as well. They went against Ottawa. That's when you can lose your focus.
57 minutes have been played. No goals so far as Ledgerwood's free kick goes into the box. Diakite heading it back across the face of goal. Away by Roberts. Picked up by Nick Law. And a Korea on the edge of the box. Ledgerwood again steps into it. Another ball into the area. Headed away by Edward this time. Watson's ball, attempting to play it in behind the full-backs, but he's gone too far with that, and it's with Timbo. Nicola does a good job to recover against Tissot. Infield for Ledgerwood. Now Albert Watson. Ledgerwood's continued his run into the middle. Korea brings it to the edge of the box himself, tries the shot, and he's going to have a corner for Edmonton.
Korea was just dashing across the top of the box. He couldn't really slow down to give himself a shot there with his left foot. Saw him score a goal against Ottawa in the second leg in Ottawa of the NASL Canadian Championship, cutting it across the top. He does earn a corner.
Eckersley with it from the left. Good looking corner. Up goes Amiobi. The whistle's gone. Referee spotting a foul in there. Free kick for the Fury. Diakite penalised for a second time, and that's it. A red card for Pat Diakite. This time a challenge right by the corner flag on Chin, and the referee's seen enough. That's one foul too many for Pat Diakite. A red card. He's sent off with half an hour to play.
And honestly, I told you, I said he was going to be walking the tightrope, but it's a silly foul on Pap's part. He's been so responsible this year, but Chin is running towards the corner. He's no danger. He's going to go into touch, and he's tackled him. This is why it's a reckless challenge. Chin's pretty well in touch by the time he's brought down. There's no need for Pat Diakite to go in there. You're going away from goal. Chin is pretty well in touch. And now Diakite's not only got himself sent off, but he's going to miss the next game as well.
Colin Miller doesn't even acknowledge him as he walks by him to the dressing room. And the resulting free kick. Alves heading one into the penalty area. Tissot's in there. He's going to get a second bite of the cherry. It's deflected. Bailey now striking it. Watson in the end getting a header clear.
And it looks like Karsten Smith, who's just signed this morning, is coming in, center back.
Break on in the meantime with Korea for Edmonton. Still going, great footwork. He's found Amiobi. Now Eckersley from the left wing. Keegan tried to get a volley onto that one, but Ottawa clear. Interception by Eckersley on the edge of his own penalty area. Edmonton are going to have to play half an hour with a man short now.
I just wonder if earlier in the game when he had that little push and shoving match with Rafael Alves, if Diakite just let the temper get the best of him.
It's going to be Shamit Shome that is going to come off for Carsten Smith to make his debut for FC Edmonton. Another good game by Shome. It's congratulated by Colin Miller on his way off. But the substitution really had to be made to fill that gap in the centre of defence.
Yeah, it's a little bit of baptism of a trial by fire for Smith.
It's like bottle service.
Come into a game and you come in, your team's a man down, and now you're in maybe a bit of a preservation mode. Even though I think the Eddies will still think that they still get a chance going forward. I have to say, in this case, Diakite didn't really do his teammates a lot of favors there with that second challenge. Really gave the referee very little choice. Just the location of where that foul was committed, that basically was across the touchline when he comes in. I mean, the ball was pretty well dead there. Chin was running the ball in the touch. There's no danger at all.
Yeah, and the same kind of challenge as well, sliding in with the studs showing. And, I mean, the Fury felt the first one should have been a straight red, so it was a pretty easy decision after that.
But, you know, at least that first challenge with Diakite, he was going for the ball in the middle of the area.
Chance for Edward on the far post there. A header well saved by Van Oekel. Eddie Edwards been close a couple of times for the Fury. And they'll be going down under the challenge. Referee waving play on.
Well, even if that's a foul, it's a good advantage play by the referee.
Correa steps over that one and works its way through for Ledgerwood. Fordyce to Amiobi. Taken away from him by Alves. Fordyce takes the ball up again, but the whistle had gone for a foul against Alves. It's a free kick for Ottawa. Edmonton have to hope the old adage comes into play, which is that it can be difficult to play against 10 men. But the Fury with a big advantage at this point in the last 25 minutes at Clarke Stadium. Things could change so quickly. Up until those two fouls, Diakite had been playing a flawless game and has been playing beautifully well at centre-half this season, but a little bit of a rush of blood or something today. Two very bad tackles, getting him a red card, especially the second one, knowing he'd already been on a yellow.
And it's, again, getting back to where you are on the pitch. You know, the first one, he comes in two-footed, he gets a yellow, Ottawa wanted a red, but at least you can make the argument he's in front of his own penalty area. He's actually trying to defend and take the ball away from a dangerous area. But the second one, there's no danger at all. Edmonton's about to get a throw in, and he's come in very, very late when Chin is pretty well in touch. The second one is just a bizarre one, and I think that's the reason we said we saw the reaction from Colin Miller as his player went off. Because the first one you can explain. The second one is a pretty hard one to defend.
Well, it means that Smith makes his debut. Carsten Smith is in the heart of defence, having replaced Shamit Shome. and clears that ball, picked up by Timbo. Makes a break down the left-hand side. A good darting run by him. Now Tissot trying to get in behind the fullback Nick Law, but a good trailing boot saves him. It's with Korea. Nick Law up towards Amiobi. He's turned his man nicely there and fed it towards Keegan. And was very close to giving Jake Keegan a run at goal. And the play whistled down for a free kick to Amiobi after he completed that pass.
Alves was really holding Tony Amiobi back there. You can see here, he's holding him back. Referee waits to see if he gets an advantage here. And assume Milan Roberts gets a touch of that ball. The referee says, pull that back, give the free kick.
Gentile is going to come on very soon for the Fury. Meantime, though, it is a free kick for Edmonton. From Ledgerwood. Smith getting ahead to it. It's a looping header, but it's over the top. And the flag was also up for offside. And here the substitution can take place now. And Dennis Chin is going to be replaced by Giuseppe Gentile. Joined them from the strikers, with Paolo Jr. going the other way. And here he is now replacing Chin.
Just traded, made the trade last week, Ottawa, or a week and a half ago, I guess. We saw Paulo Jr. playing for Fort Lauderdale last weekend here.
He also came on as a substitute in that game. He went close a couple of times too. Gentile getting his first touch from his introduction. It gives the ball to Fordyce, and Smith helping it onto Ledgerwood, whose pass towards Keegan is overhit to throw in.
Maybe just a little bit ironic that I think Ottawa's two best scoring chances have fallen to Eddie Edward. We've mentioned he never scored in this stadium as a member of the Eddies. He had the shot in the first half of the header a few minutes ago.
Shot going over the angle, his header saved by Matt Van Oekel. Stewart, edge of the area. Away by Eckersley. And Alves heading it all the way back to Ramon Pezer. Taking a touch to the left-hand side. Korea clipping at him. It's with Roseboom, and now Timbo. Keegan winning it back, doing well there in that challenge. Full of running, Keegan again today. Gentile. Into the box, playing a 1-2. Gentile on the end of it. And he just forgot the ball behind him. And that's what saved FC Edmonton, with Van Oekel coming off his line to make the block.
Poor first touch from Gentile. He had Van Oekel at his mercy, and then the ball just didn't come with him. Maybe this is a stroke of luck for FC Edmonton or not, but there it is. He just gets the ball caught up, and it doesn't come with him.
Bailey's corner to the far post. Van Oekel, very good playing for Edmonton under pressure. Excellent bit of goalkeeping again. He's done very well on crosses of late. Making a break for it down that left-hand side, picking out Keegan. Korea just helping the ball along, but there's nobody there. Well, Tissot has it for Ottawa. Gentile, what a good chance that was to give the Fury a lead.
Tissot and Ledgerwood just ran into each other off the ball, and they're both looking at the referee like, where's the call? Both of them are pretty sure they fouled each other. NASL's getting ready on the Eddie's bench.
Ball in towards Edward again, takes it on the chest. He's been a threat going forward today. Eddie Edward, and now that they have a man advantage, he's playing in a really advanced position.
It's almost like, you see, it feels like Rosenboom has moved back to center back and is playing with Alves. That Milan Roberts has moved out to right back. Timbo still at left back, and Eddie Edwards coming and playing as a true winger, like a right winger coming forward.
A couple of substitutions are going to happen here for Edmonton, and another one for the Fury as well.
And that'll be it for the Eddies if they make 2 changes here, because they already made a change in Carson Smith. Oliveira is getting ready, so an attacking option here. Coming in, I think, for Bailey.
Yeah, that's confirmation of that. Bailey replaced by Brian Oliveira. For Edmonton, Mayasi's going to come into the game, and it looks like Johan Smith as well is getting limbered up, ready to come on. Ledgerwood still a bit banged up from that challenge a few moments ago, getting some treatment down there. Here's that break. Timbo with a nice 1-2. Gentile then peels off his marker, gets the ball back, and it's just there where the control lets him down, and it's that split second that gives Van Oekel the chance.
Just don't have a lot of time, and he did so well. I think he saw there was such a traffic jam in front of Van Oekel, and he negotiated, found a path through it, and the Eddies couldn't get to him because they were all in each other's way with such a number of bodies. Carson Smith was able to get behind and clear that chance away. But really, Gentile, if Ottawa doesn't come out with 3 points tonight, he's going to lose a little bit of sleep, I think, over that one.
Still 0-0, moving into the last 15 minutes. Edmonton's home record under threat. They've won 5 on the trot in the league at home. And in general in the league, have lost only 1 in the last 9. Smith and Niasi will come on in the next break in play. A pair of fresh legs, both of them very quick players too. Niklau's cannily won himself a goal kick there for FC Edmonton, and that should make time for the substitutions here. And one of them is Correa, being replaced by Niasi. Shaking his head as he goes off. Played well, maybe a couple of 2 flicks too many for the coach today. It didn't quite come off. And now Keegan, who's again just given everything, will be replaced by Smith.
Yeah, I think it's the case. When you're down to 10 men, you need fresh legs on. Bring in 2 very quick players. Give you a burst now for the next 15 minutes plus stoppage time. I suspect we're going to have a few minutes stoppage time with the cards. There we see Carson Smith, who was signed this morning. Thrown right into it.
Niasi very nearly getting a one-on-one breakaway with his first touch there, but the player whistled down and some more treatment needed. A couple of stoppages in this second half, just breaking up the play of the game, and that's probably good for Edmonton. Ledgerwood coming off the pitch to get a drink of water here, as is Tissot.
Take a little look here. Albert Watson got hurt early in this game in the collision there with Stewart. Got some had to get some repair work done on the sidelines. Stitches there, and he came back in strong, and he's had to be strong today. Now, especially now that he's lost his defensive partner, his regular partner, and Diakite with a red card. But Watson steady as always, one of the best defenders in the league.
Now playing alongside Carsten Smith. And the other thing that Colin Miller likes about Smith is he's left-footed central defender, which means it's easier to play on that left side. And Colin's saying not a lot of those players available. So he's pleased to have made the deal. And it looks like a stroke of genius considering what happened with Diakite today.
Well, it's good that the paperwork came in time that came before the game.
Game's coming thick and fast at this stage in the season, so it's good that there's backup at centre half with Smith coming in. '27th, that's a midweek game against the New York Cosmos. And then Carolina here on the 31st. Minnesota back in town. Will we see Lance Lang? Things not going as well for him as he hoped they would be. August the 14th. And the 27th, Puerto Rico back.
Saturday night home game.
Timbo's the player down there. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to continue. And Julian de Guzman is the one getting ready to come on. And that's what happened. It was in a clash with Amiobi just as Niasi.
Yeah, it just lands awkwardly on the turf. It doesn't really look like anything dirty's going on there. It's just the way he lands. I don't know if something buckles in the knee or in the calf.
Actually being stretchered off though, so clearly some concern for him there. And the players giving him a warm round of applause, and it'll be de Guzman who will be coming in wearing the number 6 for the Fury, replacing Timbo.
So this will be another shift. We'll see who's going to go into that fullback position. You'd think now that would be Eddie Edward would drop back into what would be his natural position. But we're not sure if that's the way it's going to go. As de Guzman talks to Milan Roberts. Or maybe Ottawa just going with 3 at the back, saying let's go for it. We're up a man. Certainly looks like that's the way they're going to approach this. 3 at the back.
Yeah, going for the 3 points, feeling like 3 at the back is enough with a man advantage. And trying to get men further up the pitch, including Eddie Edward, who's been a threat and is charging away again down the right-hand side for the Fury. Now Roberts delivering across from the right wing, headed away by Smith. Niasi just shifts the ball out of his feet there at a crucial moment, finds Fordyce. Now Johan Smith getting his first touch of the ball, and Niasi has made a break on the overlap. Smith carrying it nicely. Now here's Sani Niasi. And Eckersley overlapping beautifully. And he's cut it back for Amiobi. And he's just scuffed the shot wide of the post. But a good break by FC Edmonton.
And right away, Edmonton warns Ottawa, saying if you're going to play 3 at the back, we can counter on you. Smith gets a good run going. Niasi to Eckersley, good overlap. Cuts it back. Just can't quite get the control. We've seen that a lot on both ends today. Control from the strikers, letting them down.
Niasi's going to steal possession here again for Edmonton. Into the penalty area. Let's cut it back for Ledgerwood. There's the strike, and there's the goal for FC Edmonton with 10 men. They've taken the lead with 9 minutes remaining. Substitute Niasi playing a square ball into the box, and Ledgerwood picks the corner. 1-0 for the Eddies.
What a huge goal for the Eddies. Down a man. And what a run. And Niasi, what an influence he's had since he's come into the game. Kaiser is laughing. He can't believe what's happened. But Ledgerwood is left wide open at the top of the box by Ottawa. And he just converts it, says thank you. Thank you so much for this chance. Here we see Niasi. And Rosenblum's just giving him way too much room. You can't give Niasi that kind of room. That's the first mistake. And then Ledgerwood just loses his man at the top of the area. But it starts with Rosenboom here. You can't play this like that. And then Ledgerwood just slides in, and he knows he scored as soon as he struck it. You see the fingers up in the air. And Nick Ledgerwood's first goal for FC Edmonton.
What a time to do it with the Eddies with 10 men. And Ottawa going very close at 0-0. That chance for Gentile. Van Oekel making the save. And at the other end, Niassi just given all the time in the world to pick that pass. Roseboom just giving him a yard or two. And Ledgerwood gets his right foot working, bends it into the corner. And that's just a terrifically timed goal by the Lethbridge boy. 7 minutes left, and Edmonton 1-0 up, even though they're one man down.
I think anyone who was following last night knows in Major League Soccer, Toronto FC was up 2 men on San Jose and lost. So maybe it's something with on teams from Ontario wearing red being men up.
It's an Ontario thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Well, that's a lack of concentration there, Steve.
Yeah, you got to know the situation. You got to know you're a man up. You don't have to give that player room. One guy's got to go to Niassi right away and make him make a play. But they gave Niassi, a professional player, all the time in the world, and he picks out the pass. He picks out, and in fact, Ledgerwood makes it easy on him. Ottawa just goes to sleep.
Yeah, that'll be a frustrating passage of play for the coach, Paul Dalglish. He won't have enjoyed seeing that lapse at the back, that breakdown that just gave all the time in the world for Edmonton, and they capitalized on it, have a 1-0 lead. 6 minutes left. The free kick here for the Fury. It's into the Eddies penalty area. Smith challenging for it, but it beats everybody and goes out for a goal kick. That's fine, they won't mind that, and Van Oekel will not be rushing back there to take this one.
No, especially your man down, playing the situation. But I have to say, Sadie Niassi deserves a lot of credit. He came in this game as fresh legs and really has had an influence since he came in.
Just giving Ottawa a bit more to think about with his pace, and also picked a beautiful pass. I mean, the end product there was excellent from Niassi, just into the path of Ledgerwood to swing that right foot, just teed him up perfect.
Yeah, and just really well positioned. And you know, we talked about Ottawa moving to 3 at the back, living a little dangerously, saying, okay, you know, we're going to be aggressive. We're up a man. And boy, did everything just go wrong for the Ottawa Fury in that passage.
You can hear Colin Miller shouting from the touchline words of encouragement to his players as they fight through these last few minutes. De Guzman, though, playing a pass to the edge of the box. Gentile and Tissot are throwing everything at Edmonton now. Smith, Bastard Smith getting a touch at that one. It's a in at the deep end type of a debut performance for Smith, and so far he's excelling. Ball chipped up into the penalty box. Gentile is onside. Niassi is the man watching him. De Guzman now. In goes the cross to the far post, and Eckersley didn't know what was behind him. In truth, he probably could have let that go, and it would have been a goal kick, but he really didn't know that.
No, he didn't know. That's where you got to communicate with him and let him say, just let it go. There's no one behind you. That thing's going for a goal kick for us. But no one had spoken to Eckersley and said, let that go.
Got to concede the corner, and it comes. It's away by Edmonton at the near post, but still not clear of the penalty area. That ball bobbling around in there. Eckersley getting a volley clearance away. De Guzman heading it back into the box. Ottawa throwing everything at Edmonton now. Chance for Haworth with a cross from the left. And a good header away by Amiobi defensively there. De Guzman again whipping it into the box, and Gentile missing that one as the diving header attempt.
You got to say, you look where Ottawa, we say that they're 12 points behind the Eddies now. The Eddies in that group of 4 that would be postseason teams right now. You start thinking, if Ottawa drops another 3 points today, no points in the fall season, is this sort of changes the way you look at the rest of the year for the Ottawa. This is a huge game for them.
Paul Dalglish telling us at halftime his team were going to win it, had to really win it. And that's what he went for, playing 3 at the back with the man advantage. But it is Edmonton that have got the goal and lead 1-0. Johan Smith, he can take some of the pressure off here with his pace down the left-hand side. He's lost the ball. In the last 3 minutes at Clarke Stadium now, there will be a few stoppages. That injury to Timbo. There have been 6 substitutions. And the sending off. Good hustle there by Johan Smith. Did extremely well.
The crowd recognized it too. They understand the situation, the hustle needed when you're down a man. And just that Smith was able to hustle that ball to Ottawa's side of the half and relieve the pressure. Nice hand from the support. They know he's working hard.
Liassi's done well there to find Ami Obi. And now Johan Smith again. Plays it back towards Carsten Smith, and that is not a bad crossfield ball to Liassi, who controls it beautifully. He's got Nicola overlapping. He's just struck that a bit too far. And that will go out for a goal kick.
Right away, Colin was telling Liassi, Nicola, get back there. Don't be hanging up there waiting for that ball to get played out. Everyone back, everyone on deck. And it wouldn't be an FC Edmonton game if it didn't start to rain.
Good ball in from the right-hand side away by Nicola. 1-2 played here. Ball in towards the penalty area. It's deflected out for a corner kick. We're into the last minute, but hearing there will be 5 minutes of added time. Brian Oliveira has a corner kick here for the Fury. They're trying to get something out of the game. Roberts was the man going up for that header. He got a good jump on it, but couldn't get the ball. With de Guzman. It's a good cross that he's put up into the mixer there. But Ami Obi has made a couple of very fine defensive headers back there, and that was another. Oliveira just into the penalty area again. Eckersley gets rid of him. De Guzman trying to test them with a bouncing ball along the deck, and it bounces awkwardly in front of Carsten Smith, and he slices it out for a corner kick. Harworth taking the corner. Eckersley gets his head on it towards Liassi there. Van Open coming way out of his goal to make a good fisted clearance, but he gets a good punch on it, gets it almost to halfway. And that one is going to be an Edmonton throw-in deep down by their own corner flag.
Ottawa's going to press here. They got everyone around. They don't want Edmonton to be able to relieve the pressure here. Good work by Gentile to save that, at least to make that a throw-in, not a goal kick.
Nicola being hurried up to take it by the referee. Oh, it's a good long throw. He's thrown that about 25-30 yards, I'd say. It's gone all the way through to Pézère in the end with that flick on. And now we're in injury time, which is going to be a minimum of 5 minutes. And Edmonton need to get the ball in the Ottawa half at the moment. They're just pinned back, hanging on for grim death here.
Well, Ottawa's pressing now like they should have been earlier when they had a man up. They're far too casual with that extra man.
Oliveira's ball in the penalty box away by Eckersley. Here's a chance for Liassi to relieve a bit of pressure. Tackled by de Guzman. It's going to be a throw-in for Edmonton.
And there's a big hurry from Nicola to get to this throw-in, obviously.
Clouds settling in above Clarke Stadium.
There's a little sprinkle of rain, but I'm getting nervous every time I see camera flash go off. I'm starting to think, is that lightning? Scarred from last week, Garrett.
Yeah, we had quite a few lightning bolts in the sky last week. 45-minute delay. And, dangerous for the players, which is why the game was delayed. A torrential downpour. But I think, yeah, so far we're just seeing camera flashes as opposed to actual lightning. Massey down the right-hand side. The crowd really trying to give FC Edmonton a morale boost in the last few minutes of injury time here. Holding a 1-0 lead. Ledgerwood with a really important goal. His first for the club. What a time to do it. Tissot, a good curling ball to the far post. There's Eddie Edward again throwing himself at the ball. Got up well to get the header in, but it's gone over the top.
You can see the anguish on Eddie Edwards' face.
We've probably seen him go close to scoring more in this game than his entire Edmonton career.
Yeah, he set up quite a few goals as an Eddie.
He did.
And but yeah, we've never really seen him play like this advanced. He's usually been in the fullback position, sometimes holding midfield, but really for this entire second half, he's been up in the attack.
Oakland's goal kick towards Fordyce. Fordyce gets a little back header on it, and then he can chase after his own ball here. It's on the left-hand touchline. Plays it back for Johan Smith. Smith just pushing a square pass to Ledgerwood, and now Nicola is open. Good possession football here from Edmonton. Nicola doesn't want to give it away. He's going to chip it into the channel and look for a run from Amiobi. It's beautifully judged. Amiobi will probably try and take this into the corner flag. He's got support from Nyasi. They're just trying to tie up the play here.
The way Nicola chipped that into the corner and got that ball hold up, that was maybe he was watching the British Open this morning.
Yeah, got some nice backspin.
Watching Henrik Stenson's unreal round. Unreal tournament, I should say.
Is struggling to get up there. But looks like he's going to be okay to carry on. Just a bit of a bang that he took. Roseboom's trying to figure out what to do with the throw in. We're in the dying seconds at this point in Edmonton. Deep into stoppage time as Alves brings the ball forward one more time for the Fury. Smith getting a touch at that. They're trying to prevent the cross getting into the box. De Guzman playing it forward to the edge of the area. Oliveira tackled by Ledgerwood. It's very crowded in there. De Guzman sees space on the right-hand side. Ball driven into the penalty area again. It's another corner kick. Pulsating finish at Clarke Stadium here.
All hands on deck. Everyone forward except the keeper for Ottawa.
Almost ball headed towards goal and just drops into the midriff of Van Oekel.
And Alves screaming. He wanted a call of some kind. I don't know if it was. He said there was a hand in there, a push. But Alves is. It was one big protest, and then he went away.
Van Oekel kicks out of his hands. A massive kick deep into the Ottawa half. Yes, he's going to try and keep it in. It's going to run into play. And that is the final whistle. FC Edmonton take all 3 points. The 10 men of FC Edmonton with a goal by Ledgerwood. That couldn't have come at a better time. And having lost Diakite to a red card, FC Edmonton still somehow carve out the victory.
Just a great character win for the Eddies, and shows you that even when you're up a man, you can't take anything for granted.
1-0 for FC Edmonton. Stay with us for our post-game show. FC Edmonton winning their 6th consecutive home game. A strike by Nick Ledgerwood in the 81st minute in spite of having Pap Diakite sent off and reduced to 10 men for a half hour. Let's bring you interviews with both coaches, beginning with the Fury coach, Paul Delglish.
Coach Delglish, maybe you could just see what you saw in the second half.
Yeah, I thought, we had chances. And then, we allow Edmonton one chance, and we lose the game. And if you don't take your chances in football, which we've struggled to do this season, then it's very, very difficult to win games.
Are there some things that you can build off of going into the next few weeks?
Well, I thought we limited Edmonton to very few chances. but we've, you know, it's not really a case of what we can build on. We've got to fix this issue of not taking our chances when they come up, you know, because all we're doing is continually putting more and more pressure on ourselves to not concede. So we've got to get better in front of goal, and we've got to do it very, very quickly.
And obviously a little more frustrating when you're up a man. Is it more difficult sometimes to play against 10 men?
No, it's not. It should never be more difficult to play against less numbers. But you know, it was nothing to do with 10 men. We never took our chances. We had chances to win the game, and we never took them.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Paul Dalglish joining us at full time. Clearly disappointed there with a couple of things. His players not being able to find the back of the net and the way they played against 10 men. Saying that no, it's not more difficult to play against 10 men, and he's very disappointed that they weren't able to there, but allowing Saini Niasi to have a little bit of time on that right wing, playing that pass to Ledgerwood, who picked the corner beautifully and gave 3 points to FC Edmonton. Let's get the analysis from Eddie's coach, Colin Miller, joining us now. Colin, after the Diakite sending off, you made a couple of substitutions. How did that change things for you, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back by any means, but I just thought adding the pace of Saini and Johan Smith, especially with both their wide midfield players, Eddie Edward and Max Tissot on the other side, pushed on so far. I just thought that there would be spaces there that we could try and expose. We would have to be backs to the wall as usual, but when you go down to 10 men. But I spoke about the San Jose performance last night against TFC with 9 men playing against TFC, and as we spoke about before the show came on, and that spoke volumes of their character and willingness to do things. And I think when the big fella got sent off stupidly, then you saw the character come out. I mean, Carson Smith just arrived. Nobody knows his name. He's just basically come in last night. He turned up here, had his medical before the game. And for the big fella to do that, I think speaks volumes. And again, it's another terrific signing for the Eddies, and we move forward. And you know, fair play, Ottawa made it very difficult. Two good sides having a bash at each other. So I thought it was a good game, a tough game. Not much between the two sides at all. But we'll take the 3 points at home again. The Eddies are on the move. We go to Indy next week, and that's as difficult a venue as it comes. And they'll be hurting from losing their unbeaten streak. But, you know, we'll regroup. We should have another player arrive tomorrow, which will help to add to the squad. It seems as one goes down, another one arrives here at the moment. But a fantastic team performance from our players here today, and hard work from everyone. So I'm delighted where we are in the league. We shouldn't apologise for where we are because we deserve it. And good teams find ways to win, and we found a way here to win.
Well done, Colin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Colin Miller, very pleased with that. Nick Ledgerwood strike, and with the performance from all of his players today. The substitutions giving a burst of pace that he talked about. Smith and Niasi. And Niasi playing that pass in towards Nick Ledgerwood, who was able to pick the corner with that nice curling shot that just rattled in to the side netting. Beautifully finished to give FC Edmonton all 3 points. And we can talk to Nick Ledgerwood right now, joining us on the pitch. Well played, Nick. Let's maybe begin with your goal. Just talk us through that one for us.
Yeah, thanks. Saini brought a lot of speed coming in for us, and you know, all our outlet balls wanted to go towards either Saini or Johan, and just saw the opportunity to get down there and help him out, and he laid back a perfect ball for me, and everything just kind of opened up that I could put it in the far corner. So yeah, I think just taking our opportunities, and you know, definitely the lads are happy with the 3 points today. I think we deserved it.
Seemed like you knew that was in the minute it left your foot.
Yeah, I knew I hit it real well, and yeah, just happy to get a good strike on goal, and happy to get my first goal of the season here for the boys.
Yeah, and what does it mean to you? Obviously, Alberta player coming back here, and now you've been really, really important to this club, but to get that first goal must be very, very special.
Yeah, I mean, it's more special getting the win and moving up the table again. I mean, everybody likes to score a goal. It's a great feeling, especially here in Alberta. But at the end of the day, it's just getting those 3 points. It's just moving up the table and fighting for a playoff spot. That's all that matters.
Well done, Nick. Today we hope we'll see you score more of those in the future.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
Thank you. You too. Nick Ledgerwood joining us, picking the corner, scoring a goal, and giving the Eddies 3 points, even though they had 10 men for about half an hour of the match after Diakite sending off. Let's look back at the highlights from today's game. Brought to you by Medical Imaging Consultants And this is what happened in the early going. Watson with that head and needing stitches in the end into the chin. Bit of repair work before he could get back out there.
And there we see a long ball played to Keegan. Getting behind the two defenders, Roberts and Edwards. And getting it just wide. And here Eddie Edwards with one of his chances there. Saw Ledgerwood here, Correa just flicking it over the keeper. Here we see the first challenge, and you see Diakite leaves his feet and comes in two-footed, and you know, we can't argue that he was lucky to get a yellow Haworth on the ensuing free kick. But that challenge of Diakite, he should have known, okay, I'm in a lot of trouble here. And then to go in with that challenge. As Colin Miller, I think he described it as stupidly getting sent off.
Yeah.
I think that's all we need to know. No controversy there in him getting sent off. It's pretty clear for the referee.
Great save by Van Oekel. That was the chance, Gentili, and that's what Paul Dalglish is alluding to. Those kinds of chances just not being finished. And this is what happened in the end.
Yeah. And I think you can go back, too. We've seen the Niasi, and as Ledgerwood said, just lays off a perfect ball, but really two Ottawa players are giving him all day to do it. Like, why isn't one Ottawa player getting a foot in and then challenging him and saying, here, you got to make a move?
Well, the league standings looking great for FC Edmonton at the moment. They've won 6 matches on the trot at home, and there they are, and still a game in hand and in 3rd place.
Yeah, really, if they take advantage of that game in hand, they're tied for first overall in this league, and just a great season so far for the Eddies, and more distance between them and the rest of the table. And each time they pick up those points at home, they're making it difficult on everyone else.
And you can see the Fury there, second from the bottom, fully 15 points behind FC Edmonton at this point. Next game at home, there we go, July the 27th, a Wednesday night. And it's FC Edmonton in action against the New York Cosmos. And that'll be a big game for the Eddies at home here at Clarke Stadium. Sean Nicklaw and a number of players there still on the pitch signing autographs with the fans. A sweet day for the fans today. The Eddies reduced to 10 men, but still getting 3 points. Thanks for joining us.